What's going on, everyone? This is Paul Tokuzolu, and you are listening to the Matrix BJJ podcast. My guest on today's episode of the Matrix podcast is the co-creator of Matrix, the one and only Andreas Resch. Andreas is the owner and operator of Matrix Jiu-Jitsu in Kaiserslautern, Germany, and it's been great working with him. He has a lot more experience than I do when it comes to business and things like that. So he's kind of taken me under his wing as his dark Padawan in the dark ways of the Force. And Andreas, I really look forward to working with you more in the future. In this episode, I brought Andreas on to talk about teaching kids. Andreas is the head coach for the kids at Matrix Jiu-Jitsu, and he does a really great job. So I brought him on to talk about that and also just talk about the Jiu-Jitsu lifestyle and a bunch of other things. In this episode, we're also joined by Bruno Amaddeo, who is a 14-year-old prodigy. And this kid beats the crap out of me every single day. He's ridiculous. So he's sitting in on the podcast as well. And there's a video version that we're going to be featuring on the YouTube channel. So there's a few things we reference that happen, off screen. So if you're interested, check it out on YouTube at youtube.com/c/Matrix Show Your Role. Again, all the links are on matrix.com. Please welcome Andreas Resch. I'm here with the mighty Andreas Resch. Is that how you say your last name, Resch?
Resch.
Resch.
I think you cannot say it, Paul.
I know.
Sorry, but
I'm not German enough.
try it again.
Resch.
No.
Resch.
No.
Resch.
But it doesn't matter.
Andreas Resch. Miraz, what up?
Good, man.
What up, man? Are you ready for your fight?
Yeah,
He's late as always.
He's late.
MMA class is running. Miraz is late.
Close my dinner close and come.
I'm here with Andreas Resch.
Come on.
And the mighty Bruno. Mighty Bruno.
My Padawan.
Our Padawan who's about to kill us in our sleep.
Yeah, in 2 years he will murder us. Just murder us. But whatever. We can still say he learned it from us, so it's fine.
When we're dead. It'll be on your gravestone. He learned it all from me.
Yeah.
They write on it.
We tape a lot of videos, so I can't even show people. Look here, look at this video. He was so small when I teach him his first Kimura.
People have been doubting. They were doubting on that last video that we posted of you, Bruno. Did you read some of the comments?
Well, you say people, but imagine how many people look at the video
and they don't say anything.
And they don't say anything, or they like it, or they dislike it.
I
but
know.
Most of the comments we got were really positive so far, and it was the first one. And that's a thing to handle criticism.
Yeah.
No,
because people couldn't believe how good you were. They were like, the adults taking it easy on him.
Yeah, it might be a good point.
That's what people said on Reddit. A few people were like, "Oh, there's no way."
Really? They said
on
that?
Reddit. Some guys were like, "This is bullshit. He's taking it easy."
Yeah,
the adults taking it easy.
They
on
don't
him.
know him.
I was like, "No, they're not."
They don't know Dennis. They don't know Dennis.
Yeah.
And if you are a 95 kilogram adult and you roll with a 14-year-old in front of a camera, what will you do? You don't want to look bad. You don't want to. But. What can you do?
I think that what we should do is we should post a video of him destroying me. But then they're going to be like, people be like, oh, he's not a real purple belt.
But there's tons of tournament footage of Bruno.
Yeah, I know.
And obviously in the tournament, people try to murder each other. So,
yeah.
But whatever, I mean.
And that gets respected.
Yeah.
Because people are like, oh, it's a tournament. It's legit.
Yeah. No, I think it's fine, Time will tell.
Time will tell.
And real skill comes out always.
Bruno's going to beat Bushesha. People will be like, I was going easy on him.
Well, yeah. It's because he's a kid.
It's because he's a kid, yeah.
No. Actually, I think some people even go harder because they don't want to get tapped by a 14-year-old,
Yeah, I don't want to get tapped by a 14-year-old.
Yeah.
That happens every time. Bruno, you're the man. Silent killer. He hasn't said a word.
Silent killer. When he started jiu-jitsu, he wasn't talking at all. I mean, honestly, people ask me after 3 months of seeing him in class, they came to me and they were like, I have a question. Can Bruno talk? And they were serious, you know, and I was like, yes, sometimes he talks, you know. But through jiu-jitsu, I think he got a lot of more self-esteem. And that's a big point of jiu-jitsu, I guess. Like, look at all the kids we have here. Yeah. We just finished kids class. And it's so cool to see, especially the smaller they are, the bigger the effect is and the quicker it comes, you know. They change so much for the positive in jiu-jitsu. It's so cool, man. Yeah. I love it. It's really cool.
How did you get started? Like, what was one of the best ways that you got started teaching the kids? Because they are really successful.
Well,
and you, my friend, are a key component of that.
Well, if I do something, I always want to find out how to get it better and better and better. And if you look from an outside perspective, and you have to do that as a coach, it's even easier than when you do it for yourself. Yeah. And that's super weird, but it's true. So if you look at somebody and you see, hey, he's doing this or that mistake, you just see it. Yeah. You go there and you say, hey, don't put your arm here, put it there, you know? Yeah. And then that's the first step, to just tell them do this technique, and then you correct them, and then they do it, they get better at it. But then you come up, you say like, okay, that was nice, and you do the first tournament and you see mistakes, you see what the other kids do, and then you go one step further and you come up with systems. And that's what made the kids classes and the tournament results way more, that made them way more effective and the teaching more effective. Yeah. Because if you have for example, we have 3 takedowns we teach the kids. There's a number 1, a number 2, and number 3. And they exactly know if number 1 is not working, I have to try number 2. If that is not working, I have to go to number 3. And I can jump back and forth between those 3 takedowns, you know? It's just an example. And that's what made it really successful in a short time. Actually, I learned it through him and his friends, his training partners. And it's only one of them still training, you know? The others stopped.
Which one?
His name is Philip, but you don't know him. He's only in Hamburg. Okay. But when I knew that they're gonna go to their first tournament, I was like, okay, what do we have to train? And for especially in the kids level, it's takedowns, because it's only like 3 minutes, and then they stand for 2 minutes, pull on each other, especially in the beginning levels, you know, and then somehow somebody gets a takedown, and you almost won if you got the takedown. So I was like, okay, that's takedowns most important. Yeah. Then the second thought was like, what are they doing? Okay, they all do double legs and they counter double legs. So we didn't do a double leg. We did an ankle pick, you know, and that worked so great because no one ankle picks. Nobody.
It's too high level for kids in a way.
It was quite hard to teach it to the kids, but if you are patient, and that's a big point in kids training, you know, you need to be patient, and you tell them over and over, it's working like this. The timing is that. The timing is this, and then eventually they get it. And
what are your 3 takedowns that you teach
for the kids? Yeah, man, I cannot tell.
Matrix secrets.
We have a tournament. No, it's
scissor takedown.
Yeah, scissor takedown,
suplex,
Imanari roll, and flying triangle.
Of course,
that's the takedown.
Those are the 3.
No, but if you have a solid base, so let's say you have a kid that mastered those 3 takedowns, not mastered, but is really good at them. Yeah, and then comes to class and does another takedown. Maybe saw it on YouTube also. I'm fine with that, because if the base is good, you can add on that, you know. That's okay. But
what is, like, okay, let's say there's a new kid coming in and it's their first day. They're maybe like 10 years old, so they're not like super small, but they're not a teenager. What do you teach them on the first day?
Well, it depends on what we are doing on a day, you know. Okay. I always try. I don't take this kid and say, you do something completely different than the rest, okay? So if it's back takes, I'm gonna take this. Yeah, but if they do like advanced setups for back takes, so turtle, they pull the head down, they go to the seat belt and roll over, take the back. Then this kid will just do the simple back take. So one kid sits in front of him, just learning, this is a seat belt. My legs should be here, the pressure is this, my head should be involved, stuff like that. You know? So I start with it's a system. So I start with step 1 of this system, and then I move on. So I think that's the most effective way. And if you have 20 kids and you teach them alone, or I have Bruno most of the time, it helps me. That's really cool. But sometimes you're alone with 20 kids.
Yeah.
You cannot tell every kid, you do this, you do that, you know, and they don't do what you tell them. So you really have to. What's the word? Install that in them. Yeah. That they know, like, if I don't do what he's telling me, he will come and complain and tell me to do it. So if you do it over and over again, you know, if you slack, if you let it slack, your kids' class will be like this. You know, they go crazy. But if they know that you're serious about it, you want them to learn, and you explain them why and stuff, then
so there's an extra level of discipline maybe that isn't there at later years. Sort of.
Yeah, discipline is, of course, it's hard to install discipline.
Well, disciplining, but I guess
it's possible. Say. It's possible. Yeah. It's just a lot of work. I don't think so. So it's a lot. Kids training is like, I think 3 times more energy. It costs 3 times more energy to teach kids
than
to teach adults easily. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I've heard a lot of people say that. I've heard people say that it's a lot. Takes a lot more energy.
I mean, once you have a kid yourself, you will know what's up, man.
I bet.
It changes everything.
How does having a kid help you teach kids more?
Oh, it changed everything for me.
Changed everything?
Because I remembered I was teaching a kids class, like, I don't know, man, over 14, 15 years ago, just for my buddy. He said, hey, can you do the kids? It wasn't Jiu-Jitsu, it was another martial art. And he said, hey, today I cannot come. He called me like short notice. He said, you got to teach the kids. I said, okay, I'll do it. And it was the hell on earth. And I said, okay, I'm never going to teach kids in my whole life. I will never do it. But then my son was born and everything changed, man. Yeah. You get a connection to kids. And then, so that's happened to me, you know.
You understand better.
Yeah, it changes.
That makes sense.
Yes.
It makes sense. Do you like things that you use at home? Do you use those here? Or is it totally different?
What do you mean?
Like disciplining or teaching methods?
Oh.
Is it totally different? Or are you like kind of using the same things?
I mean, each kid is different.
Yeah.
And you have to... what you need is an underlying understanding of kids. You understand how they work, how they think. And I think, maybe you learn that with your own kids. Maybe only you learn it with own kids, or maybe you can learn it over the time with the kids you teach. I don't know. Yeah. But you get this feeling for kids. It's a feeling. It's more a feeling thing. I don't know.
Yeah, it makes sense.
You feel that, you know.
Here we have like a lot of American kids.
Yeah.
And a lot of German kids.
Yeah.
Are us American kids like causing a lot of trouble? Or like, do they? I guess is there a noticeable difference in how they have to be taught, or how they have to be? I don't want to like. Obviously, I know like they're just different. One's not better or worse, but is there anything?
Yeah, it really comes down to every kid is different.
Okay.
You know, you have categories. You have like, I always say, BJJ is the equalizer. You know, for the kids. Some kids are over the top, and some kids are just like this all the time. They don't talk. They're silent. If you push them, they say sorry.
Yeah.
You know. And the other kids are over the top. They come in here. They scream around. They run around, and they're the people that pushes the other people. Or the kids that. So the kids that are over the top, it brings them down. And the kids that are here, it brings them up. So they're equal. Yeah. And we had kids that no self-esteem, nothing. They couldn't even, if you told them to talk loud, say stop, leave me alone, stuff like that, they couldn't. They couldn't. And after like 3-4 months, they're complete different kids sometimes. Sometimes it's really that quick. Sometimes it takes longer. But and then 1 year later, you see them compete and beat other kids, you know, and really proud of themselves. And
it's awesome.
I love it, man. This is the greatest feeling ever. It's really, it's so cool, man.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Do you focus mostly on self-defense for the kids, or is it more a mixture of that and sport, or is it like the official Gracie bully-proof certified by Henner himself?
To be honest, in the very beginning, I watched a lot of Henner's videos.
He's the man.
And I think their way of teaching kids, like they praise a lot and everything.
Yeah.
I think this is essential, because if a kid comes and you just say, no, don't do that, that's wrong.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know how to do it, you still do it wrong.
Yeah.
Of course you won't keep them on the mat.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm not talking about losing a customer. I don't see them as customers anymore.
Yeah.
I did in the beginning a little bit, because I knew I have to pay the bills, you know? But if that is your main concern, it's no good. So now I try to like just see a person, and I want that person to learn jiu-jitsu, because I know how cool it is if you stick with it.
Yeah.
You know, especially for a kid. So yeah.
You're the man.
Yeah. No, I'm
So
not.
you're kind of like Superman.
No. But yeah, I mean, if everybody would, if you do what you love and you teach it to other people, I think that's what you should do.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, if you get successful in one area of life, you should teach it to others. Mm-hmm. It's your responsibility, especially to kids. Because kids are like a sponge, you know? I mean, what you teach them here, it might change their life forever, you know? So, but to come back to this point, in the beginning, I looked a lot at Henner's videos and stuff, but I don't overdo that, you know?
Yeah.
And now I thought about that a lot lately. So let's say, because when you run the class and then you go to the first tournament with the kids,
Yeah.
and you teach them to say, stop bully, let me go,
Yeah.
clap, take him down.
Yeah.
What will happen on the tournament?
They're not-
Probably lose, because they
Yeah.
only know to, you know, talk to bullies and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's not wrong, okay?
Yeah.
It's just another perspective.
You want them to be able to do both.
Yeah, and then if you see your kid losing in a tournament, you're like, damn it, you know?
Yeah.
I can teach them how to win in the tournament.
Yeah.
And then you start to, but you know, this whole debate of sport and street jiu-jitsu, and the only thing I see, if you have a really good blue belt, a sport jiu-jitsu blue belt, don't you think he can win against any untrained attacker on the street? I mean, okay, let him get a little bit used to getting punched, or to dodge punches, to close the distance.
Basic punch
I get
defense.
it. I know. You know, I did self-defense for a long time. I know. But other than that, I think that bridge is pretty easy to close. But if somebody just learns the self-defense aspect, and you roll with, let's say you have, and I had that case more than once, okay? Kids came here, they came from a more self-defense oriented school, and they trained for, let's say, a year, and our kids trained for 3 months, and they smoked that kid.
Yeah.
You know, why? And for the kids, in the beginning I was like, I can't let them spar. No, I can't do that. The kid's gonna cry, it's too hard, they will not come back. But man, if you don't spar, you don't learn to fight, you know?
Yeah.
So what we do now, it's actually like an adult class. We do of course we do less techniques, keep it simple, but we repeat a lot. And then they know how to apply that. But then we roll. So 50%, it depends on if the tournament's coming up, 50% of the class is technique, 50% is rolling, and a lot of positional sparring. But if there's no tournament, we do more techniques. It might be like 60 or 70-30 then.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So again, I think if a kid is really good in jiu-jitsu and rolling and takedowns and the whole game, then it will do fine against a bully, you know?
Yeah.
And you have self-esteem and you believe in your skills. But when you say all the time, hey, if a bully is coming, imagine there's a bully, and you say stop and this and that. But it's not a real situation, you know?
Yeah.
But rolling is real. So if the kids clash and they fight and you come up on top or not, that's very real. You lose or you win, and you learn a lot, you know? So I think the rolling part is the most important part of jiu-jitsu. For kids and for adults. But don't get me wrong, underline with solid techniques, solid systems, and principles and understanding of what you're doing. But I think without the rolling, it's nothing, you know, it's worthless.
I agree. I've been to a lot of schools where rolling is minimized, or it's at the very end, you know, for 10 minutes, maybe you get like 2 or 3 rolls. The first school that I ever started at was like that. It was technique for like, classes were an hour and a half only. 15-minute warm-up, 1 hour technique, and then 15 minutes of rolling at the end. That was it. And I was like, I sucked. I had no clue. And I got my blue belt there, you know? I sucked.
Yeah. So I think when you see it more, there's schools, they have 2 times a week, they have classes 2 times a week for 60 minutes.
Yep.
No rolling.
I know.
And it's only one reason you do that, and that's money making. You make more money.
Yeah.
You minimize your teaching, the time you teach, and you just give them techniques. It's feeling comfortable.
Yeah.
Oh, I learned a new move today, and then it's cool. But if you would roll and that move didn't work, you're like, oh man, it doesn't work and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, rolling can be very uncomfortable, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, but I think you need to lead the student to and yourself, of course, to the point where if they roll, they have no ego anymore, or it's that's very, you know, I don't know who can achieve that, but to getting close to not be like, oh no, I don't roll with this guy, he's gonna tap me, or oh, today I got passed so often, or we start rolling now, oh, let's sit down first, I don't feel like rolling. No, just rolling is like you evolve in rolling. You just see it as you grow, and you can try your techniques, and you see the most valuable thing is you see mistakes. Yeah. You see your mistakes. It's not like somebody says, hey, that was wrong. No, you feel it. You know, you feel the back mount, you feel the choke, you feel the guard pass, the pressure. You feel it. And if you don't, and then if you react like, oh no, he passed and he pressured me for 3 minutes and I couldn't get out, that's wrong. You should ask yourself, why did he pass me? You can even ask him or her, hey, how did you do that? What was the mistake?
They'll show you.
And then you learn.
Yeah.
You learn. But I did that myself for a long time. Like too much ego, you know, and then you roll and you're just like, I don't know, you drive home sometimes. When you had a good rolling sessions, you drive home, you're like,
I'm a badass.
Man, I am nice. I get there. Yes.
I know.
And sometimes you drive home, you're like,
you're like,
God.
what if I quit jiu-jitsu? This might be my
you
last,
don't want to come back. And I think a lot of people, how many people get their blue belt? And how many people get their purple?
Yeah.
And how many people get their black belt?
Way down.
And why is that? I think it's because of that.
Yeah,
you know?
I think so too.
They can't handle it. Maybe, and I get it. You know, I get it. You have a 8 to 10 hour job every day, maybe.
Yeah.
You go to the academy. Maybe you make it twice a week to the academy. And then there's the killers, you know. They train every day.
The guys have been training.
They get better and better, and they crush you. And you're like,
fuck this.
Makes no sense, you know. But that's the wrong way of thinking about it. Yeah.
It's funny that you bring this up. Actually, I'm reading this book right now called "The Zen Way to the Martial Arts." My friend Charlie Vinch, who was on the podcast 2 episodes ago, he recommended it to me. And it's great. It's written by one of the last samurai masters.
Cool.
He wrote it in the 1970s when he was like 80 something, and he was about to die. And he was like, I'm gonna write this book. I'm the one of the last samurai in the world. He wasn't the last samurai. He studied under the last samurai, who was from like 1900, and then he was like that dude's last surviving student. And he studied like jiu-jitsu, you know, Aikido, Kendo, archery, karate, everything. You know, he was like all around martial artist. And this book is full of, it's like a fucking portal into a samurai's mind. And one of the things he said in the book, which really stood out to me, he said that he doesn't think competitions are important at all. He said like they're cool. Basically what he said is they're cool. Like, it's cool if you win. But he said that he thinks they can be overall damaging because they teach you that martial arts are you versus someone else. And he said that's completely wrong. It's you against you. Like 100%. 100%. He said every single day you show up, it's you versus you. Mm-hmm. And he said tournaments, and like not even tournaments, but like the competition mindset teaches you that it's you against someone else. Mm-hmm. So he was like, it's totally wrong. And he also said, so that really stuck out to me. I'm not done with the book yet, but that really stood out to me. And the other thing he said was your first 3 to 5 years of training in a fighting martial art should be spent on learning the technique. But for those 3 to 5 years, he basically said, you will not understand the martial art. And he said it's only after you go through those first 3 to 5 years of basically getting your ass kicked, that's when you can start learning. He said it's only after you go through that first little like entry period of 5 years that he's like, now you can start understanding that this is about, like you said, destroying your ego, you know, becoming a better person. I mean, obviously you're like getting some of that in the first couple years, but he was like after you learn, after that period of time, you'll understand like how to fight. And then you need to realize like this is no longer about fighting. It's about you.
Yeah.
It's about you becoming a better person.
Yeah. I just wanted to bring it up there. When you fight in a competition, it's exactly this. You know, even in your first competition or the first few competitions, you fight against yourself clearly only, almost.
Yeah.
Almost only. You know, you get tired. Like in the class, you maybe roll 5-minute rounds, no problem. In the tournament, 1 minute, and you get tired because you fight against yourself. You tense your muscles, your mind. You know, everything is tensed. And but I think competition is when I do a mistake at the competition, it teaches me 10 times more than when I do this mistake in roll.
And that's why I like to compete, is because it's for me.
Yeah.
But if I started to think like, oh, it's me against this guy, I'd get so depressed. I'd get my ass kicked. You know. And
I still struggle with it, I'm sure, but I think lately I learned better. So right now I go to, on Sunday there's another competition coming up, and I said after the last, no, it was before the last Naga, I said to myself like, look, every time I compete, you know, I learn a lot. A lot, you know, not just about jiu-jitsu, about myself, about everything. And I want to be the best instructor I can. So I need to know how it is to lose in a competition, to win in a competition, to make mistakes, you know, how it feels.
Yeah, you can't be an instructor and never have competed.
I think you could. Look at John Danaher.
That's true.
You can be the best, actually.
That's true.
But
I take it back.
But you need to still understand it. So I think you need to be one with the athlete, soak everything.
Yeah.
So it was almost you competing there, you know. But it's of course way easier if you go the path yourself, and then you can, you know. So and right now my main goal when I compete is just to feel good. You know, it's an extreme situation, and my goal is I want to feel good. That's one. Number two is I want to have fun. Everybody says that. Oh, just go to have fun. I don't mean it in that way. I mean it like fun for me when I roll and I'm really warmed up and I'm not thinking anymore. And then I roll. I don't care who's my partner. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, if it's somebody that is just like, it's not that much fun.
Yeah.
But people you can really flow with, that's the state of mind I'm looking for in every jiu-jitsu class.
Yeah.
I'm looking for that because it's my meditation. I just flow. Everything just happens. You don't think anything. Life is perfect. It's like enlightenment.
Yeah.
It's like enlightenment, man.
It's the best.
It's the best feeling ever.
Enlightenment
I think that's
for just a few minutes.
That is what the addictional part of jiu-jitsu is. One of the biggest parts of that is this feeling. And people, if you feel something like that, you want to feel it again.
Yeah.
That's why people take drugs, you know. They have this high and then they want it again.
Yeah.
And jiu-jitsu is a very healthy way of getting that, and the true way. I mean, a drug is just lying to you, basically, you know.
Yeah, a drug is like making it easy. Like you can achieve the same state if you try hard.
Yeah. So, but
meditation.
to have that in a competition, to just be like, just flow, just show my jiu-jitsu, just try my moves, just go with the flow, you know. That's a good goal, I guess. If you achieve that, I think it's a good goal. Yeah.
I was so frustrated with myself the last Matrix at the Matrix Open in the no-gi. Not that I lost in no-gi, but I was just like, I didn't do my favorite moves. You know? So now next time I didn't even care that I lost. If I had done all my favorite moves and lost, I would have been thrilled. You know? But so now I
know exactly what you mean.
Yeah,
exactly.
I know. Yeah.
And then you watch the tape of your
You're like, God damn it! Like,
And he said, what the, holy crap, what
Like,
am
I know what
I
to do.
doing there? You
Yeah.
know? And that's it, yeah. I think competing is a skill in itself.
it
for
is
sure,
100%.
you know? Yeah.
The first time I competed, I thought I was gonna have a heart attack.
Yeah,
I didn't know what to do.
Not everybody.
Yeah.
There's weird people, man.
Yeah.
I know people that are like Spock, you know, the Vulcan.
Yeah.
Really, I know
No
one
emotion.
guy.
Yeah.
He's crazy, and I really asked him because I saw him compete, and he never changes anything. He's going on the mat,
Yeah.
competes, he wins. He goes off the mat, and I asked him like, "Hey, in your first competitions, you were nervous, right?" He's like,
Nope.
"What? That's great, man. That's great.
Yeah.
That's really cool, you know."
Thing is,
But
I bet a lot of those people just a hypothesis. This is, I have literally not thought about this before this moment, but they probably competed in other sports.
no,
No?
and this guy is just natural born competitor. I don't know.
It's
Man.
crazy.
You never see if he's happy or not. He's always like,
Yeah.
I always call him Spock, you know. Like, hey Spock, what's up?
That's funny.
It's crazy, man. But most people are the opposite, of course. You know?
Yeah. Most people freak out.
Yeah.
They're like me. I had to literally, like, I warmed up and then I I didn't have a panic attack, but it was close. Like, I wasn't even, my match hadn't even been called. It wouldn't be called. I had like a total adrenaline dump.
Yeah.
It was the worst. Then I had to go like meditate for a few minutes. I was sweating like crazy. And I hadn't even, like, my division wasn't even up. You know, and then I walked on the mat. I went for my Ippon Seinage and I got choked out. And then I was like, okay, I get it. It's fine. I survived.
That's
But,
so crazy, man. It's
yeah.
really crazy. But I think you can do some things. What I tell my students and what I do myself is the breathing is major.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
You need to breathe deep.
Yeah.
Just relax your mind. You know that relaxes. The breathing relaxes everything. It's like a volume for your mind.
Yeah.
You can turn the volume of your thoughts down that tell you you're gonna lose. Oh my God, what's happening? You're not ready. Look
Yeah.
at this guy. He looks scary. Whatever you're thinking, you
Yeah.
know, it takes it down. Then there's another some other little hacks. So what I really liked and what makes sense to me, the breathing, of course. Another thing is you flex your muscles. Like you just flex your muscles for 10 seconds. You flex them hard.
Mm-hmm.
That just tells the body that get ready, there's something coming up.
Yeah.
You know, if there's a threatening situation, nowadays we don't have them so often. You know, tiger comes around the corner and you're like, oh, I gotta fight. That's your reaction, right? You tense up.
Yeah.
And that's because of evolution. So you can reproduce that. You can just do that before in front of the match. You can just, nobody has to see it. Your name gets called. Okay, you're like 10 seconds, just flex. Nobody sees it.
Yeah,
good.
that's a good.
Another one is
good
very
idea.
weird. You can do that every day. I'm sure you heard of it. You just smile,
Yeah.
like really smile for 10 seconds.
Yeah. And your muscles, your body reacts to the smile.
You will be happy.
Yeah.
You smile for 10 seconds straight, you'll be happier than before. And it's like hormones and this and that, you know. I don't understand why. I just know that it works.
For the next Matrix Open, we should have an actual tiger in a cage.
man.
Be like, this is the warm-up area. You know, we have a real tiger imported from Thailand.
Yeah.
You know, if you want, we can scare you and you'll get ready for your match.
But hey, you can freeze too. If you're too scared, you freeze, your legs shake.
Yeah.
If the adrenaline goes in the wrong
That's
direction,
true.
you're done.
Maybe a small tiger.
Small one, like a cat.
Yeah. My cat would work. He's pretty big.
You're a cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
That's
Bruno,
cool.
have you been scared on your first tournaments?
Yes.
How many tournaments did you need to feel comfortable? 3.
Then just
But in a short period of time, right? Because when I fought my first tournaments and then I hurt my knee really bad, so I couldn't fight for almost a year.
Oh wow.
And then I came back, and the first one I did was ADCC, the road to ADCC in Germany.
Yeah.
And man, it was my worst competition ever. I mean, really ever. And I did so bad. Like, I thought my leg is safe. I started attacking the guy's leg, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden he looked me. I was like, the heck?
Yeah.
And I was thinking about this the whole day. I was like,
How did
my
that
leg was safe. And then I watched the tape, and my
wasn't
leg
safe.
was just there. You know,
Yeah.
I just didn't recognize it.
Yeah.
It was so crazy, man. So, yeah, if you want to get good, Hey, look at Keenan Cornelius, Robson Mura. That's just a few of them that come to my mind. Those guys, they lost for years. They never won a tournament for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
And they did the tournament almost every weekend. You know, that's what they say. And then suddenly it clicked and they got the skill of competing.
The best in the world. Yeah.
It's
like Gordon Ryan. He said he like sucked until he was a brown belt, pretty much.
Really?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure he was fine, but but according to him, he lost all the time when he was a purple belt and blue belt and everything like that.
On tournaments?
Yeah, tournaments.
Or maybe versus Gary in the gym.
No, in tournaments.
Which would be
in
there.
tournaments.
And look at this guy, man. He trains for now it's 5-6 years. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he was
Not
already
long.
a badass after 4 years. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
he
know.
trains a little bit longer than 2 years now. And
Yeah, it's great.
I mean,
I think the tournament, it helps you get better faster.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
It has to. You learn, like, that's why I think wrestlers get really good, at least in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Like, high school wrestlers get really, really, really good because they compete every other weekend.
Mm.
Every other weekend they have a tournament for 9 months out of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have a 3-month off season, and then they go right back. They have a tournament every other
crazy,
weekend.
man.
It's crazy.
And it's a hard sport. I mean,
Yeah.
You can't be too relaxed in wrestling. I
No,
guess.
you have to be very
take
aggressive.
this guy down, you know.
Yeah.
And it's very short rounds, right?
Yeah.
So you need to go. You need to go forward all the time. That's why every wrestler goes. They
Forward.
start jiu-jitsu, they just go forward. They run on your guard. You're like, what the? And then you triangle that.
Yeah, I
And
know.
then they're like, okay, let me do that again. And then
But they get so good at their sport, you know, and at
Yeah.
wrestling. Like,
sure.
I trained with this one guy in Baumholder, where I was before I lived here,
Mm-hmm.
and he was a state champion wrestler in high school. It's nothing I could do to him. Nothing. He learned some jiu-jitsu. He was like
Yeah.
maybe like close to a blue belt level.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing I could do.
Some people are just normally if you have the combination of somebody is really strong,
Yeah.
but I don't mean the strong that is just holding a
Yeah, like
a
grappler,
weight up,
like
I don't-
real
I mean
real world
really
strength.
real strong, like climbing strong, or
Yeah.
you know, and intelligent,
Yeah.
and they take their time. They can be after 6 months of jiu-jitsu, they can be so hard to submit. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, you can be a black belt, I guess, but those guys, you don't submit them in 20 seconds, you know?
No.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I have specific
Yes, I
people
do.
in mind now.
Yes, I do.
Man, it's scary. And actually, if you try hard, it's even harder to submit.
Yeah, because you tire yourself out. They quickly learn what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Exactly.
Like rugby guys. Rugby seems to
Miraz played rugby
Yeah, like
before.
Miraz played
One of our best
semi-pro.
guys, and he
Yeah.
competed.
Semi-pro rugby, I think.
Yeah.
Or, no, professional in Germany.
He
Semi-pro in Russia. is
Yeah,
what he said.
he played rugby for like 7 years or so,
Yeah.
professionally. He's very strong,
Yeah,
but
he's
he's
very-
flexible too, so he's a good guy. And he
Yeah.
trained, I think, for 6 months. And we took him to the first Naga, and we signed him up for the, not novice, the beginner.
Yeah.
He won that. Then we talked to them and said, hey, can you fight one further?
Yeah.
So he fought intermediate, he won that. And then
crazy.
we said, hey, can you fight elite? And they said, yes, why not? And he competed elite, and he lost his match against a black belt, I guess. Black belt or brown belt. One of the best French guys, if I don't remember wrong.
Yeah.
And just by a rolling knee bar that he never saw before.
Yeah.
So after the match, we explained to him. He was like, "Oh, okay, so
No, it'll never happen again.
Well, man, and the guy was cheering that he beat him. You know, he was like, yes, because he saw him fight before.
Yeah.
You know, and he maybe thought he's
A monster.
wrestling monster. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he didn't know wrestling, just rugby. You know.
I've met other guys who did rugby before. There was this one guy who I trained judo with back when I was doing just judo, and he did rugby, and he came to judo, and he whooped me on the first class,
Yeah.
first day,
Yeah.
first day doing martial arts
That's
ever.
weird. So
He just tackles you. They just tackle you, and they take. It's like a takedown. It's like a wrestling takedown.
some sports they build a really good base for jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
But it doesn't mean shit if you don't work your butt off, you know?
I agree. Yeah.
For example, he never did. He told me that he wasn't good at any sport Not even close.
Yeah.
In soccer, they put him in the goal. That's what you do with people that are too bad. You know, put them in the goal. Just go there. Just try to catch the ball. You know?
That's what they do
You're
with me.
oh, well, I'm so sorry for you.
I thought I was a good goalie.
So, yeah. And so you see that it doesn't mean shit.
Yeah.
You know, especially in Jiu-Jitsu. You know I can name you a few people right now that are really bad in all of the sports they ever did, but they got really good in Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
And I see it with the kids all the time. Some
Yeah.
kids, they come, they did gymnastics before. Great, man.
Gymnastics is awesome. for
That's
jiu-jitsu,
great.
yeah.
Others, wrestling, of course they learn super quick
Yeah.
if they come, if they show up, if they are coachable.
Yeah.
But you don't need that. You don't need talent. You don't need anything. You know, there are other kids. They're the best kids in the class now, and they couldn't even walk straight.
Yeah.
You know, they were really motorical skills zero.
Yeah.
But now they're really good just
Yeah.
because they put the work. You know.
It's like me. I was the most unathletic person ever before martial arts. Now I'm a killer.
Yeah, man, you straight up killer. You Imanari roll everyone.
Yeah, and then I get heel hooked.
No, but
Coming out of
really,
the Imanari roll.
I don't know, man. I cannot say enough good things about Jiu-Jitsu
No.
because always when, like in the conversation now, I'm thinking about the next thing comes to my mind. Why Jiu-Jitsu is so awesome? You know, I don't know, man. It sounds. I think it sounds like a cult to
Yeah,
people that
it
don't
does.
train Jiu-Jitsu. You know.
It does.
But it's just the truth.
Yeah.
Always when I speak to somebody and he does the mistake to say, what do you do for a living? So what's this jiu-jitsu about? And I'm like, oh man, you just did a big mistake. And then I start talking, you know. And then I tell him, and I'm sorry, man, but it's just how I feel. I just talk from my heart, you know.
Yeah.
So and it's true. I cannot say, yeah, it's all right.
It's okay, come try
but
it
I'm
out.
happy when, you know, in the evening when I'm at home, I'm like, day's over, no more jiu-jitsu. No, man.
Yeah.
I could just start again, you know.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. A lot of people say that it's very cultish. But we were like CrossFit, but before CrossFit was cool.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about it.
It's a lot of things, man. It's
I think
not
so too.
just-
It's a lot of things. You can't put your finger on one and be like, "That's the reason. That's the reason it's so addicting."
I think. Yeah, one of the main reasons is that feeling we already talked about. You get when you roll.
The flow state.
Flow,
Yeah.
That almost enlightening stage that you can reach there.
You know, I've actually been looking into that a little bit. When I say things like I've been looking into that, I mean like I listened to like 2 podcasts.
Yeah. Nowadays it's
I read
really
one
easy
article. Yeah,
to
I know.
Inform yourself about.
But there is a flow state that is created, and part of it, and it's a like a observable effect in your brain. Like if you were to hook your brain up to a bunch of machines that I don't understand, you can observe you entering into this flow state where it feels kind of euphoric and it feels like everything is moving at like a you know like we just talked about, like time is standing still.
Yeah.
And I know that one of the ways that you get there is overcoming small difficulties one after the other very quickly. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
like if you just do like one thing that's really hard, that could maybe put your brain in that state. But what really does it, like for sure, is if you are like slow, like over a pretty short period of time, one after the other, you've got like many things that are difficult and you overcome each of them.
Mm-hmm.
So like when you're rolling, you like, okay, I pass his guard. He tried to submit me, I defend. You know, they're all like things that are a little bit difficult, but you get past it. And it triggers this state in your mind that they call a flow state.
You know what's crazy? Some people, they spend their whole life like Buddhist monks or so, Zen Buddhists.
Yeah.
They have practices like for 1 week they're just sitting on a lake or something.
Yeah.
And the Zen master tells them, okay, you sit here. And they never say, you do exactly this, and this happens.
Yeah.
That's not how it works. They say just one thing, like feel the nature and find your inner whatever. And then they sit there and, what does the master mean with that? What does he mean? And after 4 days of thinking, they just listen to the nature. And maybe they get in a state of mind where they just listen to the nature and they, oh, now I'm in peace. And then the master comes and says, now the next practice for the next, and some people, I think they get 90 and they do that their whole life and they just search for the next practice. Man, you can just go to a jiu-jitsu class, roll with somebody, and you have it. You know what I mean?
I know.
Because you can go jog. I think that's why a lot of people love jogging.
Yeah.
You run through the wood and you just hear your breathing and eventually you stop thinking.
Yeah.
And you're just enjoying and maybe. But in jiu-jitsu, you do the same thing, but somebody tries to fucking choke you.
Yeah.
So I think that's
and then you get
more
out.
intense. It's just more intense than everything else you do in life.
There's also an element of human interaction,
Oh yeah.
Like there's
huge.
certain hormones that I don't even know if chemicals that get released in your body when you're like touching people. It's like
there
you're
was
hugging.
this study they did, and one guy said, jiu-jitsu makes so happy because you hug people.
Yeah, you're hugging people all day. It's.
Did you know there's stores in big cities where you pay cash and somebody hugs you and cuddles you for 1 hour?
I know. It's great. Yeah.
You need that,
You need to touch people.
Yeah.
You need to You can't just.
There you
it
have
feels
another
good.
thing. If you do boxing,
Yeah.
when you hug somebody, it's because you're desperate. Because you're like, oh shit, I get hit. Boom, I got a clinch. When jiu-jitsu, you're supposed to. So
Yeah.
it's
It's
another
nice.
thing.
And
What do you like most about jiu-jitsu?
The rolling session.
The rolling sessions. Was that the same in the beginning?
No. Because
You see?
I was frustrated against area guys. When I started to fight against area guys, it was, oh my god, no, they
Yeah.
exposed me. And now I'm
Yeah, now you're fine. Now you kill them. Yeah, no, you see, that's what he's saying.
Yeah.
And I think that's why in the Gracie Academy, for example, they don't let beginners spar in the first year or so. I'm not exactly but it's from a business standpoint, it's perfect because you get 100 people in, 100 people will roll, and 90 people say, oh my god, I have a scratch here. Women are like, my hair, I got scratched. It hurts, my neck still hurts. Oh man, this dude, he gave me an armbar. I don't like that. Versus, I learned a cool move today. Let me show you. Look, I can do this.
I know.
You go there and only positive.
Yeah, only positive things happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get it. Okay, I get it.
I get it too.
But
They have a lot of students. They're introducing a lot of people to jiu-jitsu.
I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I just couldn't do it. Even I run women-only classes, and let me tell you, women are not easy to teach. Because, one, they're not used to fighting.
Yeah.
Okay? They're simply not used to it. Two, they're really like, my hair is that. Okay? But, once you manage to make them feel comfortable, and I do that, okay, first they do the techniques, they learn it, then we do positional sparring. So I personally think positional sparring is way better in the beginning than no sparring.
For sure.
So, for example, they learn moves from the guard. Sweep, triangle, this, that. And then you say at the end of the class, just 10 minutes. Say, okay, 1 minute rounds, then 30-minute break. You just stay in the close guard, you try to survive, and the bottom person tries to submit.
Yeah.
Man, now the women we teach, you should see them. You should see them.
They love it.
And like the women that you would really say, they would never do martial arts. And they don't look like it. They're small, they're tiny, good looking. But when they roll, they go at it now. Yeah. And I love to see that, man. I love it. Mm-hmm. I couldn't teach women self-defense and just send them out there without sparring.
Yeah,
because I know that somebody attacks them. I always tell them, look, you have to do it. Because when somebody attacks you out there, you will go hard,
Yeah.
And you will not feel comfortable. But if you rolled a ton before,
you'll feel
and somebody
second
grabs
nature.
you on the street, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's
You're
go.
Good. Yeah.
Because you're used to it.
You're looking forward to it almost.
And actually, I must say, I love women that train jiu-jitsu. They're awesome.
Yeah.
They're awesome. I love. So the kids kids, women, the weaker part of our society. Okay, they're not as strong as male.
Yeah.
But jiu-jitsu makes them, equalizes it again, and I love to see that. Man. I love it. Most of us start martial arts. Why?
Learn how to defend yourself.
Because they feel weak.
Yeah.
They walk the street and they're like, I can't look him in the eye. Maybe he feels offended. Maybe he then pushes me and then he punches me. Ja? Wo ist die Fernbedienung? Irgendwo. Guck mal bei mir in der Ecke. Yeah. So I love to see that. I love to see weaker people getting strong through jiu-jitsu. I love it, man. This is a big gift.
And the ones who come in too humble or too proud become humble.
Yes,
they're humble.
That's what I said with the kids. Too much comes down.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's the best.
Yeah.
And the thing is if I could take all of the benefits of jiu-jitsu and put it into like a pill and say, you could have this, I wouldn't do it.
No.
Because you have to go through, the struggle.
It's like people that say they're enlightened.
Yeah, enlightened.
Like Eckhart Tolle, we talked about him a lot.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's enlightened, or he was for a huge part of his life. But it's boring.
Yeah.
You have to come back and play the game. And then you can be enlightened again. You can play the game while being enlightened. Sometimes after jiu-jitsu class, I feel like, hey man, if my life is over now, perfect. Everything is perfect right now.
Yeah, I know.
And that lasts usually a few hours, maybe after class. So I don't know.
Then you're just looking for the next hit, next day's training.
Yeah.
And everything.
Yeah. It's true.
It's the best.
And most people, they need catastrophes, sicknesses, illnesses. They need to lose everything they have, a bad divorce, or they lose all their money, or everything goes wrong. They come to the lowest point, and then they realize what's really important, You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so some people seek that their whole life. Other people, they get punched in the face by life all the time, to the point where they're down, and then you have two choices. You give up, or you start going up in the right direction, Just you accept things. And in jiu-jitsu you learn that too. You learn acceptance. When you get crushed, man, if there's a brown belt 15 kilos heavier than you, he trains for 12 years, you train for like 5 years, what will happen? Surprise, So you can't overcome this dude in 1 month. You can't. You have to handle the situation. You have to handle that.
Yeah.
Mentally, physically, technically, you have to handle that. And if you manage that, you're good. This is not a bad situation at all. Suddenly, it's just a situation. It's just the way it is.
Something you look forward to every day.
Yeah.
Getting to spar with that person.
Yeah. And if you tap, you're fine. Just think about, why did I tap?
Yeah.
Why did he beat me? What is the reasons? What do I have to work on?
One thing I think about a lot with people, I notice a lot of people who don't train, they get so excited or so antsy about things that I don't worry about. Like maybe at work something happens and someone freaks out, and I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I'm upset. I'm vaguely upset about this. I'd rather it didn't happen, but it's not world ending. And I think it's because as humans, again, I haven't looked into this at all, but I feel like as humans, whatever is the most difficult thing of your day, that is what you will respond to the most. Yeah. So if your most difficult thing of the day is your boss said something to you and it rubbed you the wrong way, that's what you're going to focus all of your energy on. But if your most difficult part of the day is Bruno is going to heel hook you and you have to defend as quickly as possible, that becomes your thing that you're thinking about and you worry about. Not worry, but you know what I mean? That's what you have that response to. And whatever is your most difficult thing that day, that's what everything else seems easy in comparison to that thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you do jiu-jitsu at night or in the morning, I think jiu-jitsu in the morning is the best for me personally. But let's say you have jiu-jitsu in the morning, the rest of your day is easy. You know, like
Yeah.
you could get fired from your job that day, mate, and you would be like, sucks, but
It's like feeling comfortable in uncomfortable situations.
yeah, exactly.
I had like a few weeks ago, our head coach had me in a, what was it, man? I think reverse triangle. And he
Yeah,
was
you told me
working on
about
the arm.
that. You told me
man,
about
it was so beautiful because the choke was so deep, and and he's powerful. So if
Yeah.
he squeezes, sometimes
Done.
your shoulder is like, you tap
Yeah.
because of,
He almost broke my
But
shoulder
this
the other
time,
day.
I was in this position, and you start in jiu-jitsu, you get in a bad position, in a bad situation, you like,
Freak out. You tap right away.
you tap.
Yeah.
Okay, kids are the same. They get in, and then they're like, or they don't tap, and they get overwhelmed by their feelings, and they cry, and then
Yeah.
eventually they learn to accept it a little bit more,
Yeah.
and then to be there, accept it, hold it. Then you think, okay, do I really have to tap? If the answer is yes, keep going.
Yeah.
If the answer is no, okay, let's see. What are my options here?
Yeah.
And that's how I think that's what you meant. When
Yeah.
you go to work, the day before you roll with 4 super monsters that competed at 80cc one day before, and you survived that.
Yeah.
Man,
You're like,
what else should
I
happen?
think I'm good at good on this.
To come back to the situation, I was in this really, really bad spot, man.
Mm-hmm.
And like after, I was like, okay, that's fucking deep, and let's tap. And then I'm like, oh no, I'm fine. And then it was like meditating. I was there, and suddenly I was extremely happy,
Yeah.
like just super happy. And then I enjoyed it. I wanted to last,
Yeah.
I was like, the choke was on, but it wasn't too tight,
Yeah.
so I could still breathe, and I just relaxed, and I was like, man, this is the greatest few seconds of my complete week here, and just stay there, I stay and stay, and I don't even remember if I came out or not, to be honest. I cannot recall because
Yeah.
it's not impossible.
Yeah.
It's not important.
Yeah.
Important is that it brought me in the now, in a really bad situation. I mean, most people that don't train jiu-jitsu, if they would be in this situation, they would fucking freak out, fucking freak out.
Yeah.
But I think if you do the opposite, you learned a lot
Yeah.
through jiu-jitsu already. It's cool, man. It's a blessing to be able to feel something like that, Yeah.
I think the chokes are the best for the meditation, especially like the triangle or the guillotine, because you can't hear because they usually cover your ears.
Yes.
So it's like all the silent. You just can't hear anything.
Just relax, my friend.
Yeah.
Don't tap.
So you have that brief window where like you can't hear anything.
Yeah, but
know
some
it's the end
chokes
is-
are so violent, like the most of the gi chokes.
Yeah, that's different. That's
Or
different.
if you get the
Adam's
guillotines
apple.
like the
Yeah.
muscelotines that cut
That's
your Adam's apple,
That's different.
or you see stars and you're on the neck ring.
But a
type chokes.
nice like north-south choke,
Yeah.
your ears are covered.
But
people
how
are-
cool is that? You get
Yeah.
choked for like 20 seconds.
I know, you're just
it's
meditating.
really tight, and you work your way out, man.
It's the best.
It's so
The
cool.
best feeling.
Yeah, and that's life, And I recently had a few months ago. I had a really bad situation in life. I mean, it was
Yeah.
like some people may consider that like life-threatening for like business-wise, like
Yeah.
money-wise. Like, what do they say?
Bankruptcy?
Yeah, like what is the worst thing that can happen to you, like in life, other than like death or serious injury?
Someone could like torture you to the point of not
bankruptcy,
being.
maybe bankruptcy, ruin your life. That was like
Yeah.
that could ruin my life situation.
Yeah.
But all it did to me was I was like being in a deep choke mentally. I was
Yeah.
like, so what?
How do you get out of it?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. No, it wasn't like how do I get out of it? It was like how can I take advantage of that? And that's what I did. I just like minutes later.
Yeah.
I didn't even felt frustrated or anything. I just started working on the escape and turning
That's
it
awesome.
around,
Yeah.
And then like weeks after, I was like, shit, jiu-jitsu teach me that. It came into my mind.
Yeah.
I was like really happy. I was like really thankful that there's jiu-jitsu.
I think that's a beautiful story to end on.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you for this. I don't know what we accomplished, but it feels like we accomplished a lot.
I hope so.
And now let's train.
It's training.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Thanks so much to Andreas for doing the show, and thanks to all of you guys for checking it out. If you enjoyed that episode, go to matrix.com and you'll find links and show notes for everything that we talked about during the episode. So if there's anything we talked about and you want to, check it out further, there will be a link posted at matrix.com. Make sure that you're following us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and everywhere else on the World Wide Web. You can find links to all of those conduits on matrix.com. So check out our website and you'll find links for everything. And if you enjoyed this episode, please go to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating and a review. That's a really, really great way to help support the show. Ratings on iTunes are what determine search results and things like that. So if you want to help support us, that's a really great way. It's free to you, free to me, and free to everyone. Doesn't cost anyone anything, actually. Thanks for all of your support. We really appreciate it. And again, if you want to send in some footage to Matrix for us to feature on our YouTube channel and on our website, send it to matrixvideo@gmail.com. Once again, all the info is on matrix.com. And finally, I'd like to give a huge shout out to my friends at Waves Overhead. Waves Overhead is a band out of my home state of Maryland in the United States, and they do the theme music for this podcast. Their song, To Make Amends, is the official theme song for the Matrix podcast. If you like their music, check them out at wavesoverhead.bandcamp.com. You can find a link at matrix.com, or you could just type it in yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and close out this episode by playing the theme song. Once again, that's To Make Amends by the band Waves Overhead. Check them out, wavesoverhead.bandcamp.com. You can download all their music for whatever. It's I don't know if you've been on Bandcamp before, but they do like however much you want to pay, you can pay. So you could give them $100 or you could give them $0 and you can get all their music. And it's really, really great stuff. So check them out, wavesoverhead.bandcamp.com, and here is To Make Amends.